Oh, no, I think it might let me. Yeah, brilliant, thanks. I always get it wrong whether I need to share screen or
there we go.
share window. Can people see that?
Yeah.
Yes, people are nodding. Excellent. Right. Well, I'm Becca Ward. I work in strategic and planning within the inclusion team at North Yorkshire.
You might just need to put it on slideshow, Becca, because it's just sort of showing your PowerPoint screen.
Thank you. I did practice this earlier, but you wouldn't know, would you? Is it a custom or from?
If you just do from beginning, yeah, I think that'll do it. There you go.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know how to get onto the next one. Oh, there we go. Right. So, yeah, I'm Becca Ward. As you can tell, I'm not brilliant at technical things, but I manage the supported internship provision across North Yorkshire. So having a look at employment pathways for young people and trying to progress as many young people who want to move into work as possible. So there's lots of ways that a young person can go into work, and supported internship is a great stepping stone to either move on to an apprenticeship and continue doing that training while you're working and getting paid as well, or supported internship will hopefully lead to what I would just call your bog standard employment with no training attached. So a supported internship, really briefly, is a transition to work programme. It's 12 months and it's for anyone between the ages of 16 and 24 who have an education healthcare plan. It is for somebody who's really come to the end of the time with education, feels that they've done everything that they want to do in terms of other courses within either alternative provision or FE college or wherever that young person may be at. So it's really that last year of education, because at the end of a supported internship, obviously we hope that that young person moves into paid employment. I've got a little video here that I just want to show you because I think it showcases it well. We have got some other videos later on, but rather than keep everybody on just watching 3 different videos, we'll share the slides and then you'll be able to watch them at your leisure. But I'll show you this one here because I think it's a nice one.
I think you need to share with sound, Becca. It's quiet.
God, hang on. I don't know how to do that, Charlotte.
We're testing the tech this morning.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, everyone.
You'll have to stop sharing your screen, and then when you go back into share, you need to click share with sound near the top. So when you click share, there's like a little toggle button and it says include sound. So you just need to make sure it's toggled when you share your window.
Yeah, I've got that now. Right. Can everyone hear that?
A supported internship is a full-time programme of study where people with learning disabilities learn about work, develop their skills for work, and will hopefully move into employment. And you'll also have a careers education programme and employability programme. We will work to find you a placement, and we can find you placements in hotels, kitchens and catering and admin. Supported internship is a great option because you'll be able to try out lots of different roles.
When I was left college, I don't know what to do, but when I found out about the Harrogate School of Living, they do like internship and like looking for work placements and find a job. I'm doing a work placement as a waitress in the Crown Hotel. My work placement is really supportive because they're kind staff. They treat us with respect. It builds my confidence, my self-esteem.
Everybody has a right to work. Everybody has a right to be seen as somebody who wants to work and is enthusiastic about wanting to work and be independent. People with learning disabilities then become visible to a lot more people, which probably can help break down a lot of the stigma that surrounds learning disability.
I would say to someone, if you're struggling to find something what you want to do, just what is your skills and also like what's your hobby as well.
A supported internship can help shape people's futures by giving them independence, confidence, being part of society, doing a job that you really like and that you know that you're skilled at.
So that's just a nice video really that shows Mariella on her work placement. At the end of her supported internship, she did secure employment with the hotel, and she's still there, which is absolutely fantastic. So within that 12 months, you are primarily based within an employer's premises. So when somebody starts, it's not throw you in at the deep end and you're straight out 4 days on placement. We have a number of different providers that work for us. We've got 2 colleges and 8 other independent, smaller independent training providers that are delivering this for us, which I'll come on to those in a second. Doing the more time, the majority of your time, even within the workplace. So you might start doing 1 day on your work placement and then gradually build up to 4 days on work placement and 1 day of education. Within the education element, that includes maths and English functional skills if needed, or if that young person wants to do them. There is no entry criteria in terms of you have to be at a certain level for functional maths and English, or you have to have GCSEs. You don't. And there's also no exit requirements. So if somebody is sick of the sight of maths and English by the time they get to a supported internship, that's okay as well. But the one thing that they do need to do is the employability element, and that's all about interview techniques, CV building, how to complete application forms, in work etiquette, and everything that's involved in the world of work, how you work out pay slips and how you work out how much money that you've got at the end of the month with in terms of your pay. So there's lots of things that providers do to support a young person while they're on that supported internship. And in terms of benefits, we've been doing supported internships across North Yorkshire since 2016. Granted, back in 2016, we only had 1 provider. Now, like I say, we've got 10 providers across North Yorkshire, which is great at plugging a lot of the gaps that we had, because it really does have a positive impact on that young person and their family. We've had families that have come to us and said, I really didn't think that my son would be able to go to work, but now look at what he's doing. There's been so many wonderful successes of young people progressing into employment. And there's also been successes where people haven't actually moved into paid employment, but have continued volunteering after their internship, because I fully understand that not 100% of young people are going to go into work at the end of an internship, and there's lots and lots of reasons why that may be. But while they're there, they're given specific on-the-job training by a specialist job coach. That job coach goes with them into the place of work and gives them support, and that job coach is sort of the link between an employer and that young person. So they're all trained in job coach training, systematic instruction training, so that they can break down those tasks for a young person so that it's not completely overwhelming when you first start, and then things are gradually built up and built up and built up. And then as that young person becomes more confident in their work placement, then the job coach will back off and withdraw that that support throughout the 12 months. As part of a supported internship, a young person will do a minimum of 26 weeks on the unpaid work element, and they can start paid employment at any point during the year. If somebody, and this has happened in a number of cases, if somebody starts in, let's say for argument's sake, they start in September and they're in paid employment by December, then the provider that's delivering the supported internship will continue to give them support until the end of that 12-month period. So they're not just thrown into paid employment and left without support. There's still that in-work support for the remaining time of the supported internship. If a young person goes into work at the end of the internship, then that provider will continue to do some in-work support with that young person so that they know all the ins and outs of, like I say, your pay slips and you know, not sure about the tax or anything like that. So a job coach will support them as much as they need to. Everybody's different. That's the great thing about a supported internship. There's no one size fits all. Especially with the independent providers that we're working with, because they can have starts at any point during the year, whereas the colleges can obviously only take starts in September. Everywhere else across North Yorkshire will take them at any point of the year, and they do so brilliantly as well, which it works really great for young people who have maybe signed up to a college course and think, oh, it's going to be great at college, I'm going to do whatever course, and then by October half term they've possibly dropped out because it's not what they thought it was going to be. They really don't like the course that they're on. Then a supported internship might be something that's suitable for them, and the providers will take them mid-year. So that works really, really well for us. There's quite a few, they're the other videos. Now, I won't show them now just because I don't want to take up all the time showing videos, but both of those are a day in the life of a learner. So one's Charlie Lou, who's based in Scarborough, and she did her work placement at Blue Dolphin Holiday Park, cleaning caravans. She secured employment with the holiday park afterwards, which is wonderful news, and they're absolutely brilliant employer. And the second one is Joe, who did his work placement in our print room at County Hall. At the end of his internship, he secured employment with the printers in Catterick, which is, again, absolutely wonderful. But if I just try and give you a couple of ideas of employers that are on board. In Harrogate, there's lots of hotels. You've got obviously the Crown Hotel that was shown on the video, Ruddin Park, Cedar Lodge, or Cedar Court, I think it's called actually. Then there's Tech Buyer in Leeds, because somebody who's in Harrogate, it was easier for him to get to Leeds. There's Harrogate Hospital, Siemens, Amazon in Darlington for anybody who it's easier to jump the border. There's positions with ourselves across the council. Either, for instance, we've got somebody who's doing admin with us. We've got somebody who's in our canteen at County Hall. We've had lots of young people in different kitchens within primary schools, secondary schools. So there's lots and lots of different options. Retail, dog groomers. There's one currently working on a canal boat, which is definitely the most unusual that we've had in the last few years. But there's lots and lots of different options. Where else? LNER, lots and lots of Marriott hotels. So there's just a wide variety of employers on board. And other than Groundwork, who are based in Selby, who only do horticulture, everywhere else is pretty different in terms of they'll work with the young person, find out what they're interested are, what their aspirations are, and then find them a work placement that fits their aspirations and their interests. Other than Groundwork that do horticulture, Harrogate College are the ones working with Harrogate Hospital. Selby College are working with Siemens. However, that is in Goole, so if you live the other side of Selby, it's a bit difficult to get to. That's the only thing with that one. There's lots of employers on board, so there's a raft of different things that people can do. And I know obviously it's my baby, and obviously I think that supported internships are wonderful. I know that they're not right for everybody, but they are right for a lot of young people. So hopefully there's something in there that people might be interested in. Now, I've listed all the providers.
Sorry, Becca, can I just jump in a sec if that's
yes,
okay?
You can.
There's just a question in the chat from Sharon. Said,
sorry, I can't see the chat. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd be able to. It's okay. Are there any available in the more creative industries, such as animation production companies?
I don't think anybody's asked for that so far. That's not to say that couldn't be found, because, like I say, provider will work with a young person, they'll sit and do a vocational profile, and then once they've done that and they've established what a young person's interested in, it's down to the provider to go out and find that work placement for them. Yeah, there's somebody doing photography at the minute, but I don't think that there's anybody doing animation. But I think that is something that a provider can look at. They might have to go further afield, say Leeds, you know, into a bigger city. Depends on where that young person lives. But it's a provider would look for a placement that's as near as possible to a young person's aspirations. It's not about sticking a square peg in a round hole. It's about making sure that the young person gets out of it what they want.
Well, there's a couple of hands up as well. Natalie's got a hand up. If you want to unmute yourself, Natalie, if that's okay.
Yeah, so I was just similar question really. So my daughter's currently at York and is
York
doing
College.
art and design. Yeah, York College.
Yeah.
Currently doing a foundation art course, but is going back in September to do a level 3.
Right.
But is more interested in like she wants to work like in theatre, so wanting to do like creative design sort of thing, so costume design, theatre set design. So we'd asked college about whether they would be able to do some sort of supported internship in that sort of area. I've contacted a few theatres, but they they never get back to you, or they say no, it's not something we do. So in terms of that, I've had a word with York College, but they've sort of said that they only really deal with LNER and
so Aviva.
Yeah, that's
so
Aviva.
Aviva, yeah. So Aviva's
Yeah.
ran this academic year. That's the first time that they've been involved, and then from September they're going to be doing LNER as well. We also have other providers working with different employers, but we have in York there's 2 other providers that deliver for us. We've got Shaw Trust, who deliver for us in York as well as within North Yorkshire, and Blueberry are the same.
We're actually based in Knaresborough, so I mean for us this side would be better. So I have contacted Harrogate Theatre,
Right.
but they don't do anything.
Right. Well, what I'll do then is I will get Shaw Trust have a lot of providers that they work with, because they don't only deliver in North Yorkshire, they deliver in West Yorkshire and London and a number of different places. So I think that possibly might be the best bet. I don't think that they have the I mean they might do. Harrogate College definitely isn't the one, because they only work with the hospital, and I don't think Harrogate Skills for Living have any of those contacts. So I do think that Shaw Trust would probably be your best bet. So if you could, if you're okay with that, would you maybe? Well, I'll tell you what, my details are on the end. If you just drop me an email later, so I've got that, and then with your permission, I'll then pass your details on to Shaw Trust, and I'll get Nikki, who manages the programme, to give you a ring, and then you can have further discussion and decide what you think is the best bet. Is that okay? And we can at least.
That's fine. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, lovely. Thank you. Cheers.
No probs. Was there anybody else?
Yeah, just one more hand. Catherine.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm just being super organised. Noah only turns 12 on Sunday. We're on the countdown already. But already,
very organised.
I am, but Noah's got a significant physical disability, and that's my concern. Already I'm thinking, am I going to have to set something up for him? His passion is sport, football. He wants to work at Ellen Road in whatever capacity. So already, you know, I'm thinking, is there an opportunity where he can have, at the moment at school, he gets 1-to-1. We're fighting for 1-to-1. We're also going to appeal as well at the moment. But I'm just, is there an opportunity? Is he going to be unincluded because he needs extra help? Noah has got, he uses a walker, he's got a significant hand tremor, but he's got a desire to work. He tells me every single day, when I get a job, Mum. And that's already in my head.
So good.
he said he wants to work in Domino's at the moment. We've just bought a little pizza oven, but obviously the physicality of rolling dough out with a walker is going to be really challenging for Noah. He's probably going to need some help working. Without a doubt. So already I'm starting getting my head around it, because I don't want him not being to go into the workforce. That's my worst nightmare. He's got charisma and loads of desire to work, and that's obviously a concern for me already. Thinking,
I can totally understand that you're concerned. I completely understand that. However, as I've said, a supported internship is so individualised, and that's the beauty of it. We've got lots of young people. We've got one in Harrogate Hospital at the minute, who's a full-time wheelchair user. She's absolutely thriving. There's lots of young people with physical disabilities who are on supported internship. There's one at Harrogate Town Football Club at the minute. So that will not hinder.
It's just the fact that Noah will probably need one-to-one support, because he'll just
fine.
Pouring anything out, he'll just spill stuff everywhere or drop stuff. But I don't want that to be
that's absolutely fine. And the great thing about the job coach is they can be there if a young person, like I say, everyone's different. So some young people will need a lot of intensive support to begin with, and then they'll want that to be gradually withdrawn. Some young people are going to need support throughout the whole of their internship, and then they would need additional support within the workplace. So in terms of, if, let's just say, does his internship and then he's offered employment, he can then apply for a further job coach through access to work funding, which is from DWP. That's an unlimited pot. So if there's any specialist equipment that he needs, that'd be bought for him. If he needs to have a job coach continue to give him support, that would be paid for under access to work, because it's about making sure that a young person isn't disadvantaged from having a disability. So don't worry about that.
No, you do worry about already.
You do.
I'm thinking, can I go to Leeds United, because he's a member of the Pan Disability team at Leeds United Foundation. Can I go to them with an idea? I've got an idea whereby he could produce stuff, maybe in association with other send mums with children, that he could sell on match day. I'm already, even at this stage, thinking, so could I come to you with an idea?
The problem that we would have, you can, but the problem with him only being 12, he'd need to, you can't start a supported internship.
I realise that, but I know it's gonna take a lot of planning and stuff. We know, I know it is, and I don't want to, he's so keen to work, bless him.
I think we should probably have a conversation as he's going into year 11.
Okay, thanks
for
that
out. But don't worry, but I understand that you are. I totally get that.
Oh, thank you.
Is there anybody else?
No, we're good. We can move on.
So we've got, like I said, some areas have got multiple providers. So obviously in Harrogate there's 4, Scarborough there's 3, Skipton we've got 2, Selby we've got 2, and then we do have ones outside of county as well. So there's Darlington College, who are working with Amazon for those who it's easier to jump the border. In York, there's York College, who were, like I said, working with Aviva, and then from September, LNER, as well as City of York Council. There's Prior Persclove College in Gisborough. They do supported internships as well, as the Middlesbrough College. And if you live the other side, so more Skipton, Cumbria way, you can jump the border that way, and Kendall College deliver supported internships as well. So it just depends on where you live to what's going to be best for your child. I've put my contact details there, and if anybody's got any questions at all, or if you think later on, I should have asked blah blah, just drop me an email. you can always, I'll always come back to you as soon as possible. So yeah, if anyone wants to have a chat, or if you want me to arrange any visits or anything for you, I'm happy to do that. But that is me. But I'll just come off my presentation so I can load Charlotte's.
I'm glad you're doing it. Thank you.
Slide.
Oh, don't forget to share with sound again, Becca.
Well, it'll still say there if I've already done it, won't it?
Oh, probably, actually. Yeah, probably.
Right, well, we'll give it a whirl.
Yeah. Hi everyone. So I'm Charlotte Rudd and I manage the supported employment team at North Yorkshire Council. We sit within health and adult services. So I don't know how old your children are. You might be thinking, well, that's a bit of a way off. They're nowhere near 18 yet. But we just wanted to kind of come and talk to you and let you know what was there for them as they get a little bit older. And also kind of if they've completed a supported internship and maybe not gained employment at the end, but they're wanting that ongoing support, they want to keep that momentum going in terms of looking for work, then we've got a really good working relationship with the supported internship providers, and we've got that link through. So it's just to raise a little bit of awareness of support as they're preparing for adulthood, as they're getting a little bit older. I don't know if you want to go to the next slide there, Becca. So it's nice to put faces to names and kind of get an idea of who we are as a team. So we're a fairly small team. There's myself, and then we've got 8 coordinators working across North Yorkshire. So we've got Joe and Louise, who cover Scarborough, Whitby and Rydale. Alison and Isla in Harrogate. Next slide then, we've got Mike and Carol, who cover Hambleton, Richmondshire, Eamon in Selby and Chris in Craven. So that's the crew, basically. So I'll give you a little bit of an overview of what supported employment is. So as a team, we're a member of BASE. BASE are the British Association for Supported Employment. It's their little logo there. And the little arrow figure that's on the right-hand side of the slide there, that's the basically an image of the supported employment model that BASE have developed. So what we do, the coordinators would do, is they're looking at working with who the employee is, which would be your child, young person. And the role there is to get to know that young person. So we spend a lot of time kind of building trust, building that relationship, getting to know them, getting to know what they've done already, if they've got any qualifications, if they've tried any work experience, if they've got like a real goal and there's something they really want to do for work, like it sounds Noah does, or whether they've no idea but they'd like to give work a try. So there could be any point. And then we'd look at things like, are there any environmental factors we need to think about? Do we need a quiet space, or does someone want to work outdoors? Are we looking at full-time employment, or are we looking at sort of a couple of mornings a week? Do we need to think about transport? Lots of things that we'd be trying to build a picture of that person, so that we know the kind of work that they're going to be looking for, and then working with them to kind of agree a plan and work together along that plan to try and help them find the right job. So there's no time scale involved in particular. Obviously, the sooner the better for someone getting into work while they're working with us. But if it takes a long time, that's fine. And for some people, it does take quite a long time. So as long as they're making progress along that journey, then it can take as long as it takes, really, that's fine. And then the other half of what we do is working with the employer, because we want in this employment to be successful, sustainable, meaningful employment. So to do that, we need to understand the roles that different employers have available, when they would be recruiting, whether there's any adjustments that they can make to that role. Can they carve little bits of that role out to make it more sustainable for that person? And what are they looking for in their employees as well? Are there certain shifts they're looking to cover? Are there certain bits of the job that are more important than others? Things like that, because we want to make sure we've got the right worker, and it's about that job match between what the employer is looking for and what that person is looking for, and trying to find the right match for them, really. So on the left there, you can see it's go back for 1 sec, Becca. So it's a personalised model. It supports people with significant disabilities or mental health needs to secure and retain employment. And it has at its heart the belief that anyone can be employed if they want to work and the right support is provided. That's really important. I was thinking that listening to Catherine talking about Noah then. And in my experience, like that motivation, enthusiasm, determination, that's like half the battle. I think if someone's got that and they really want to work, that just speaks volumes, really. So it's our role to kind of support people to achieve their goals, really. And it's about that, match. You can move on now, Becca, sorry. So I always chuck this slide in, and it's basically just because it makes me think about how important employment is. That question, what do you do? So it's something I get asked all the time when I'm meeting people for the first time. It's like, oh, what's your name? What do you do? It's often what we ask each other when we're learning about each other for the first time. And that, what do you want to be when you grow up? That's the question that, like, we're asking our children, isn't it? So it's a big part of our identity. Employment is so important for more things than just going out and earning your own money. Can move on, Becca. And it's for a lot of these reasons. So we know that I'm probably preaching to the converted. I always feel like I get on my soapbox when I'm talking about this, but we want to make sure that no one's excluded from employment if they really want to have that opportunity and they want to attain it, because we know work is about more than just earning your own money, which is very important, but it's about who we are, how we see and think about ourselves. It allows you to go out and meet new people, make friends, see a little bit of the world, see a little bit of where you live and your community. You can build new skills and knowledge. Learning and development is really important, and also being able to show the skills and abilities that you've got as well. That's really important for mental health and building your confidence. And just having like routine and structure to your day and week as well, a little bit of purpose. So there's lots and lots of benefits towards having employment that are more than the financial. So we just really want to make sure if someone wants to work, they've got that chance to do it. So next slide. This is a really interesting thing. Well, I think it's interesting. Not everybody does, but this was a study that I came across a little while ago, and I like to share because I think everyone knows about kind of, you need to do your 10,000 steps a day and you need your 5 fruit and veg and you try and get 8 hours of sleep. But quite a big study, which followed over 70,000 people over several years, kind of looked at the impact of employment on well-being and health, and found that people need around 8 hours a week of work to kind of feel like to have that health and well-being factor, to sort of feel better. So obviously it matters about what that work is. It matters that it's quality work, that people feel supported and it's the right thing for them and they're getting a lot out of it. So we're not talking 0 hours contracts or the wrong role, but having something that is motivating and is kind of beneficial is really important. So it's just something to think about. I always like to come back to that one. Next slide. This is a video that I've popped in. So you'll notice that Ian in the video is quite a bit older than your children. So it's just one example that we've got. So Ian had been, he's an older man with a learning disability. He really wanted to work. He'd done quite a lot of different voluntary placements, and he does mention some of those in the video. And he lives at Botton in Whitby. So he was really looking to do something completely different. And this is just what he has to say about that. Oh, is that video not working?
Nothing's happening.
Oh no, it looks a little bit blurred, doesn't it? Like the link's not worked. Maybe we could share it after. I can just like maybe give you an overview of it. So Ian, like I said, he'd been doing quite a bit of different volunteering. So where he lives, they've kind of got like a little village shop, and there's the creamery there and things like that. So he tried a few different things, but he really wanted to work. And he was sort of matched with Louise, who you saw the picture of before. And Louise talked to him, and he said what he really wanted to do was be a sports coach, because he's so sporty and really, really keen to basically share his passion for sport. So he didn't think that was going to be possible for him. He didn't see how he was going to do it, and he knew that he needed qualifications as well, and he was worried about how that was going to go. So Louise kind of had lots of chats and kind of spoke to North Yorkshire Sport as well, and kind of got some feedback and support from them and ideas. And then we kind of got him involved with Whitby Jets at the Leisure Centre in Whitby. And they sort of showed him some videos about different drills and things like that he might want to try, so that he could try and learn them. And they helped him kind of put an action plan together for what it might look like if he wanted to be a coach doing that sort of thing. So there were some qualifications he needed to do, and he needed quite a bit of support to get through those, and that took a bit of time. But over a period of time, he has had help and worked through those qualifications. And it was things like his first aid, his level 1 sports coaching, and he's now got a diploma in sports coaching with that support, which is great. And he's on the video. You can see the kids in the background on that image there. So there's like pictures of him kind of him doing that coaching and with the kids, and he's just so much a part of that that club now, which is great. That's a voluntary role, but he's now looking at a paid role within the village where he lives, where they're looking at getting some additional equipment in there. They've got a grant to do that, and he's hopefully going to be paid to run some sports sessions where he lives. So he's feeling really positive and really happy about that, and it's a really nice video, but I will share the link with you all after so you can have a look at it if you'd like to. And it's just an example, really, like Becca said about the supported internships, it's about what that individual wants to do. So a question we often get asked is, have you got lots of employers that you're working with? And we do, and there are some employers that we go back to more than once, but there are lots of small employers in North Yorkshire, and it's really about what that person's looking for, rather than saying, we're working with Morrisons and Sainsbury's, so you could go and work at Morrisons and Sainsbury's. That person might want to do something completely different. So we try as much as possible to try and work it for what that person's skills and interests are. Someone's got their hand up. Do you want to ask your question, Sharon, I think?
Yeah. Do you also support people that want to be self-employed?
Yes, we do. So we would kind of put people in touch with different business startup courses and things like that we're aware of. We work with the Growth Hub quite closely, but yeah, we can provide support to people who are self-employed, and we provide support to carers actually. And we have quite a number of carers who are interested in self-employment or who are already self-employed but need to kind of fit that in around the caring responsibilities. So yeah, we do. It's a slightly different way of working, but yeah, we could do that. Some people have got like ideas of they might be really creative, and we've got an artist that we're working with at the moment who's amazing. So yeah, it's just about what that person wants.
Yeah,
really.
we're a very creative household.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I'm already self-employed, and it's something that he's looking to do. He's already 16, so he's looking at creative things that he wants to pursue.
Could also do
hence the animation question earlier.
Yeah, well, he can also do, I should have said that as well, but I always forget. There's a couple of young people who've gone self-employed on a supported internship as well. One set up an online sweetie company, and then there's been 2 artists as well that have then gone on to become self-employed and showcase their work at markets and things like that. So yeah, they can do. There's lots of support. And grants as well, for startup grants, which is really helpful.
Oh, okay, that's really useful to know, because I know when we've looked at colleges and things and about apprenticeships, there's nothing in the creative industries in terms of apprenticeships. So this is really good to know. Yeah. So thank you.
Do you want to try next slide, Becca? I can't even remember what's next. Just go, right, okay. So this is an example of some things that we might support with. So obviously it's very dependent on each person and how able they are to do a lot of these things for themselves. But if they need support, these are the things that we can do. So we would start with looking at creating or updating a CV if they were thinking about looking to go into work. Some people might not have anything on that CV yet, so it might be kind of looking at how we can do that. So what sort of job are they looking for, and what's the gap between what that employer might be looking for and what they have already? Can we sort of try and build some of that up? So we might do that. We can show people where jobs are advertised, how to sign up to sites like Indeed, how to search for different things that might be available, and just support with doing that. We can help with applying for jobs, writing cover letters, and we can go and speak to employers as an advocate for the person as well. So we do support people to apply for jobs that are just advertised, because those jobs are available, but we will as well go and speak to an employer if there aren't any jobs advertised at the moment for that particular role, but that person's determined that that's the thing that they want to do. So an example might be someone who loves bikes, really loves cycling, feels like Halfords would be the amazing place for them to work, but Halfords aren't recruiting at the moment. What we would do in that situation is probably go and have a chat to Halfords, talk about the different roles and things that they would normally have available and when they recruit, and then kind of ask whether we could set up some work experience or a work trial for that young person, and kind of go with them and try and help them get a bit of an idea of what that job might look like, build that relationship with the employer, and then look at what adjustments they might need to a recruitment process, or if there were only certain parts of the job that they might want to be able to do, or whether it was going to be the full role. So we'd speak to the employer to see if there was a way in for that person, and try and smooth the process really. We can help with preparing and practicing for interviews. Everybody hates interviews. They're not the most fun, and they're not necessarily the best way of kind of judging someone if is the best for the job, I don't think, but they're a fact of life a lot of the time. So we help people prepare for those, think about the sorts of questions that might be asked. We can obviously ask an employer for questions in advance, if that's something that would be beneficial for the young person. And we can go with people to interview as well, if that's needed, if that's going to be a useful help. We can look at exploring reasonable adjustments for the workplace. So obviously that getting to know you process for the young person, hopefully we're going to really know what adjustments that young person might need in the workplace to make that a success. Sometimes you learn about that as you go. So they might start and you think, actually, this particular thing is a bit of a problem, and we need to look at whether we can change shift patterns, or where the person sits, or when they can have their break, or whatever that might look like. So we can talk to the employer about what's needed there. And Becca mentioned access to work earlier, so we can help with applications to access to work. So access to work can help with a variety of different things. It might be things like transport. So if the person is going to struggle to get to work without a taxi, then we can look at applying for sort of transport. It might be sort of physical equipment that allows them to do their job better, like magnifying equipment, things like that, or equipment that sort of reads text, anything like that. Or it could be job coach support, so that person might benefit from having someone to support them to get to know the role, and access to work can help pay for that job coach support. As a team, we also provide initial job coaching support, so it would be usually through an induction or a training period to get somebody settled in. If they needed that longer term job coaching support, we would be looking to try and apply to access to work to fund that, but we can get people settled in and get them started. And we also help with job retention. So when someone's employed, if that's been going well for a period of time, but then something's changed and they're having a few difficulties, maybe health's changed, or there's a new manager, or the role's changed in some way, or something's happened and there's now a problem, then we can come in at that point and try and help resolve that. We do have people come to us just for job retention as well. So they may have got the job independently and then like years later suddenly find that there's a problem with something. So people can just come to us for job retention as well. And there's my contact details there. So we've got there's my email address. We have a team email address there. There's a little bit of info there about BASE. That can give you lots more information about what supported employment is as well. There's a bit of info there about access to work. So yeah, I think probably we're a little bit further down the line for some of your young people, but they don't have to have completed a supported internship to come through and work with us. They can come through to supported employment if they haven't been on a supported internship. It's just sometimes that is quite a helpful route through if they're still looking for a job when they've got to the end of that 12-month period. But yeah, that's supported employment in a nutshell at the moment.
Well, what we'll do is, if we send the slides to Catherine and Sarah, would you be able to share these out with everybody who's been on the call today?